Hello out there. Checking to make sure we're not squeaking. Here. And let's see if this works. Here. And yep, let's see if okay. I'm going to do I think 2 separate videos here. I'm going to go over the stuff I sold, and then I'm going to swap over to and do a quick bit on how to get books and do an instructional, sort of. That's how we do it. Okay. So, let's get started. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name is Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, flea markets, backyards, front yards, side yards, and other different places, and try to flip and make a couple extra bucks online. What I have today is a stack of science fiction. I made about 3 sales, $100. And I will show you what we got in. I don't have much to report on from any finds for the last couple days, and I've been busy trying to I put up a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Had a few sales. They've already gone out. Bundling. So, and actually I may talk about that for a second, but I don't have any of those to show you because I just got it. Like, it happened and I shipped them. So, that's what we'll go over. So, starting off, what are we going to do? We're going to start off with a little... Okay. I sold about 21 of these old men's fiction, adventure fiction, spy thriller, destroyer books. I sold a small lot in the past of like some of the early ones. And then I had 21 of these that went for $35. I still got like a box full of them. Don't think I really made money on these. I think I waited till I got them, almost all of them at half price, so about 50 cents a piece. So, well, 21, so that's, say, $11 in, sell for 35. Okay, I made a few bucks, but they sat a while and they take up a lot of room, and I would probably not do that again unless I got maybe a quarter a piece or cheaper. But I'm not going to go whole hog on that series unless I get them super cheap. And then I think it'll be more worthwhile. So, Destroyer books, men's adventure. There's not a ton of them. There's a few like real rare ones, and I don't know quite what those are. But 90% of them, you can bundle them, but it'll take a while. They're $1 to $3 books. It's one of those situations. I'm on a couple of Facebook groups for them too, and if I could flip them for like $1 a piece and a guy was local, I could have done it and sold like every single one of them. But there's like not a lot of guys out there who read them anymore. So that's kind of what you got to go with. So there's that. Better note though, we're going to go with Dune. This is a first edition paperback Dune. And this went for $40. And this is, I would say, between acceptable and good. This is the binding's fine. There's no markings. There's actually there's not the wear on the cover is like on the surface. It's not. The edges are about as good as you're going to find on this book, unless it just got put away after it got bought. So, $39, cracked spine, and it still went for that. I think this book could go for a substantially more if it was. And I'm hoping the buyer likes it. I'm a little antsy. I'm really hoping the buyer is okay with it, but we'll see. That being said, Dune sells, but just the Dune by Frank Herbert, not the first 3 or 4 books, not the later books, but the first few books. I have flipped and made money on Dune books that were printed like last year. So it's selling right now. It's hot right now. The movies are out. I need to watch the movies. I've never been a fan. I'm not a fan of the book. Not a fan of the series. If I want to be, there's a whole lot of intrigue and philosophy and stuff, and it's just like, nah, give me the old fashioned pulp. Give me Conan the Barbarian. Though I'm a Tolkien fan, so it's just a style. Never quite clicked with me. It's well written. I'm not going to trash it for how well it's done. It's just not my cup. So finally, I've sold some similar books of this before. This is the Elric Saga by Michael Moorcock. This went for 7 books, $70. This is the full, this is like books 1 through 6, and then book 7. Like 1 through 6 is the original series, and then he's wrote some more. The Elric Saga books by Michael Moorcock is what you need to look for. Particularly the older, the better. I have some more modern printings, and those aren't selling as quickly. But some of the stuff like 1980s and before seem to do okay, particularly in lots. I actually have one more lot of sort of a piecemeal batch of these, and some other stuff by Moorcock, and those don't seem to have a whole ton of interest. But these, $10 a piece for these, all in one lot. And this lot will be, it's a sword and sorcery book. Again, this is not my cup of tea. It's a little too ethereal, I guess, flighties, I think I like more pulpy stuff, and this is not. So, and I will be shipping these because I'll be shipping this too. Because of the price it went for. These aren't going media mail. I will be shipping these Ground Advantage. That will be shipped Ground Advantage. Partially one because the weight. It doesn't weigh hardly anything, so it's not going to be a whole lot extra cost. And Ground Advantage has insurance, and it goes a little bit faster than media mail. So these, whenever you sell a book, I would say more than about $20-$30, and that lines up to you. But for me, it's about $20-$30. And if it's not heavy, it's not a bunch of books, I go ahead and I eat the extra $1 or $2 and ship it Ground Advantage. That way it gets there faster and you have insurance protection. So that's what that is. So that's what I sold. So nice $100. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the record button and stop recording, and then flip over and go into another thing so we can talk about how to buy books. And hope that I can give some good advice there. So, pushing the record button. Push record. Hi, I'm Ryan. This is Coffee and Resales, and I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and those sorts of places, and try and make a few bucks online. Most of what I buy is books. Uh, there's several reasons I buy books. Uh, and what I'm going to talk about this in this video is some of the stuff about how to find books to sell and how I do my process and how it works for me. This is not going to be universal. This is, but some good pointers, some good advice about how to make it work. First off, what I usually tell people when they start doing, when they want to do eBay, when they want to do reselling and that sort of stuff, I tell them start with what you know. A lot of folks say if you have a hobby, you know what the good stuff of that hobby is. You know the tools of your hobby that are each hobby has a high-end tools. Each hobby has good equipment. Each hobby has literature, that sort of thing. So if you're a book collector, or you collect a specific genre of book, you probably know what the good stuff to get in that collection is. You can go through and say, "Oh, that's this edition of, that's the first edition of that book. I need to grab that." Oh, I know this author typically signs these. Let me look through these and see if there's any signatures. That sort of thing. So, start with what you know in the book world. Second, you got to get it at the right price. The floor for selling on eBay is about, you need to clear about $6 to make money for a book you got for free or for stupid cheap. You need to clear $6, and that's including shipping. I typically do all my listings as free shipping. So, a book like this, this is Dune. This is a first edition Dune. I sold this book for $40, and I'll ship it for free. And this book cost me $1. So, with eBay's fees and shipping cost, the flat shipping cost for a book about this size is about $4.16 or something like that. So that's your shipping cost. Then eBay's got to get their cut of it for allowing you to use their platform. So eBay gets a percentage of it. And then you have your cost of supplies, paper, ink, padded mailers, boxes, stuff to go in them, time to do it. So all that adds up to I need to clear about $6 to make money on a book. So you have to think about that when you're buying books to resell. When you bundle books, that cost can come. I can sell. That cost comes down a little bit, but it may only be $7 to sell 2 books together. Is what you need to clear. That type of thing. So you need to figure out that area of like how much profit do I want to make per book. I know guys like if they're not gonna they try to attempt to clear. If I can't sell a book for less than $10 plus shipping, I'm not going to bother. And that's pretty good because what that does is it limits your storage space. Some of your limitations is where can I store my books? Right now I'm a little overwhelmed. I kind of overdid it. I'm not going to show you, but I got a big pile of books right here I probably need to get rid of a bunch of them because they haven't sold. They're not going to sell. And I need to get them out the door. And I've actually been going through that process. I've gotten rid of a few boxes of books already in the past month or two. So when you're going, so you got to get your costs. You got to figure your costs. You got to get something you know that sells. And best way to figure out whether or not something sells is the eBay app. I'm not going to go through it here. I don't have the setup to click and show you, and there's other videos out there, but go to completed sales and see if your book sells. If you have a book that sells, get the eBay app, look it up, and and scroll down the options. Go to completed sales. See if it sells. See what it sells for. Don't be afraid to take the time to look stuff up. And that way you know, okay, this book goes 10, 15, 20 bucks consistently. And then you can kind of figure out, okay, I can flip this, but if I can get this book for less than $2, I can flip it. So that's what it is, and it's not really a whole lot more complicated than that. You need a printer. You need to print you need a small scale. A kitchen scale is fine. I have two scales. I have actually this is actually a postal. That's a kitchen scale. It's not a postal scale, but same thing. I actually have a postal scale at home. Kitchen scale, and I have for large boxes. This goes up to about 5 pounds, and for large stuff, I have an old bathroom scale. I pack it up, drop it on, and try to figure out how it goes. So, get your scale. I would say don't go if you're just starting out, unless you trip over a massive box of books that you know are going to sell. Don't go whole hog and buy the big boxes of padded mailers yet. Run over to Walmart, run over to the local store, buy a small pack of padded mailers that your books are going to fit in. Go do it that way. If it starts working for you, all right, start jumping online. Find you the vinyl mailers and the padded mailers that books fit in. The thin vinyl mailers without padding, I use for cheap sales. I wrap all my books up in usually a Walmart bag. I wrap a book up in a Walmart bag, throw it in there, and that's for stuff under about $10. I have padded mailers for everything else. Again, I always wrap, for me, I get them, good way to reuse them. I wrap everything in a Walmart bag before I put it in a mailer, 90% of the time before I ship it out. Because it actually helps if it gets rained on and that sort of stuff. So, and that's the basics of it. Go to thrift stores. You have to take time and you have to be patient with yourself. This is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a learning process. I'm still learning books here and there. I have very specific expertise in stuff that I can go through. I can go through my local Goodwill and grab stuff off. About half the books I can grab off the shelf. I don't have to bother looking up. But I look up more often than I don't. I don't bar scan. Mostly. You see the guys with the Amazon scanner. They go beep, 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 beep all the way down. I don't do that. If it has a barcode, you do have a barcode scanner in the eBay app. I will use it then. But not always. Because there's a lot of people who don't put the UPC in their sales. So, it's helpful, but it's not universal. So that's how I do books. There's Amazon. There's folks who do Amazon. Is all they do. They scan, and if it's not going to sell on Amazon via bar scan, then they're not going to do it. But I do older books, and older books you can't scan, and that's how I manage. I find stuff that those guys don't, is because I'm willing to do stuff. I'm willing to look books up that they aren't going to scan in. Make plenty of money that way. So. Any other? Got some viewers. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be here. I'll be out like about 2 minutes, and then I need to log it off. So, if anybody has that, then we can go from there. There's a delay on, so I'll give it a second. But other than that, I'm thinking storage. Make sure you have space to store your stuff and that the folks you live with can put up with the storage. I have a small office away from home, so I can put stuff there. But you don't always necessarily have that luxury. Keeping things generally organized is useful. One other point. Money. What do you do with your money? I have a separate bank account. Well, it's an online bank that I have a credit card for. And I buy all the money when I buy something, it comes out of that account. When I sell something, it goes into that account. And then when I get to like a certain amount, it's like, okay, I try to keep about $200 in it for me personally, uh, to buy stuff for reselling. When I have a certain amount over that at the end of the month, I pay myself that money and put it in my regular bank account. So that way the money stays separate, and it has a lot easier accounting for whenever if you actually make enough that it's worthwhile to do the taxes on. You can actually take that account, do a little math, and you've got your in and out, and you've got your profit loss. So that is how I handle the money for. Don't mix your money. Don't mix your money. If you're just starting out, get another bank account, throw 25, $50 in it, and use that, and keep a minimum in it, and use that account for reselling purposes, and make sure you got enough in it in case you come across a. Trick is having enough in it to come across a mother load and being able to do it. And for me, that's about $100. Typically covers that. Okay, I'm gonna need to dump a bunch of money because I found a bunch of books. So that's how I do on that. So seeing no other questions, we're going to ask that you like, comment, subscribe. If you've got any other ideas or any other questions, feel free to ask.